Travis Wayne Goodsell. I was met with a terrorist attack this morning. Cyber terrorist attack. Somebody thought it would be hilarious to download an app without my permission and instantly start up with the starting up of my computer. It was a wallpaper live action app, which I think I already have one, but I found it undesirable. Didn't work the way I wanted it to work. But that was like a decade ago. But to have an app suddenly appear this morning, yeah. This is by Mormons. I've already confirmed and established who's responsible for the cyber terrorism on me. Russians have given up on me. So I know it's not them anymore. I know it's not China, because I won't use my cell phone. It's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints through the Strengthening Church Members Committee. Members of the 70 are responsible for cyber terrorism against those that dare to molest and make afraid the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It was back in 2008 that I'll sum up again for you. I filed a petition for redress of grievances with the state of Utah concerning the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And in response, President Thomas S. Monson ordered my execution. And all 15, as is required, under the orders of Thomas S. Monson, signed the check for my extermination. I have the receipts. I have the documents. I have the photos. I survived. And for Thomas S. Monson's acts towards me, Deuteronomy 19 kicked in for false accusers. Law of Purim. And I was released. That's shocking, everybody. I wasn't supposed to get released. There were 3 retirements that occurred in order to get me released. I was never given due process. I was incarcerated indefinitely. It was supposed to be the rest of my life. So, 2014. And in 2014, I saw the news about a lunar eclipse. I went, oh, prophet's gonna die. This was the pursuit of my education as to the latter days, as to how Joseph Smith translated. And by pursuing the education, I then became Doctrine and Covenants, section 107, verse 92, which was preparing me for verse 91. And Mormons do not understand it because of the damage that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has done to them. So let me briefly go over it for you, help you understand what it means. I'm sure all Mormons are aware of, you'll know a false prophet by their fruits, wolves in sheep's clothing. We're supposed to judge their fruits, which means you have to see the results and see if they are true. If a person who claims to be a prophet makes a prediction and it doesn't come to pass, you don't say, well, he's the title, so we'll continue to believe in him. No. Scriptures make it very clear you don't believe in him. Deuteronomy 18, verse 20 is where Matthew 7 got it from. This is the law of the Jews, in case you're confused. You want to call it Christian. And so, after all these years, especially after 2020, I am this person. And again, the duty of the president of the office of the high priest is to preside over the whole church, over the high priesthood. See, I didn't quote it right. And to be the Jewish Christ, the man like Moses, from Deuteronomy 18, verse 15, whom Joseph Smith says is our Christ, in verse 40 of the Joseph Smith history of 1838. We're not Christian. This is what makes Mormons evil, is by claiming Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon are Christian. Verse 19 of the first vision. All wrong, abominable, and corrupt. We're Jewish. Why can't Mormons accept this? Why can't Mormons believe the Word? Behold, here is wisdom. To be a seer, revelator, translator, and prophet, having all the gifts which God bestows upon the head of the church. Close. Have you not been following me? You should at least know I'm a translator. Nelson doesn't even claim that as a title. You now know us. Nelson, by not claiming the title, is not, and thus is not the head of the church. He claims the keys of Peter, James, and John to be the head of the church anyway. And so, prophecy and revelation. Have you ever clicked on my video page and clicked on popular? It's still the #1 video to this day, where I demonstrate in that video that I am a prophet and revelator. Now, do you understand why I've never been able to get close to that number of views for a video? The church knows who I am, and they tried to execute me. Seer's visions, like the Joseph Smith visions, has nothing to do with titles. These leaders are frauds, and all you had to do was test them. And so, yeah, it was prophecy. Let's see if I can find it. Wouldn't have been that one. Betrayed by Judas, taken before Caiaphas. Yep. Chapter 26 of Matthew. Here's the prophecy of Thomas S. Monson ordering my execution. And it came to pass when me will finish all these sayings, he said unto his disciples, Ye know that after 2 days in the feast of the Passover, and the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified. Then assembled together the chief priests, and the scribes, and the elders of the people, unto the palace of the high priest, who was called Caiaphas, and consulted that they might take me by subtlety, right, Mark Shurtleff, and murder me. But they said, not on the feast day. It's conference weekend. Let's do it early, lest there be an uproar among the people. Yeah, they had my whole identification erased. We're not talking about this, though. We're talking about consequences for attacking me. And so, 2014, 2015 was the start of the latter days. I miraculously got freed right at the start of the pre-show. Monson would tell Mormons, nope, nothing to see here, move along, keep paying your tithing. Chad Daybell would then think that he knows better because he saw Jesus. Doesn't understand that a near-death experience is not the actual separation of the spirit from the body, and that you're in the spirit world and you actually saw Jesus in the spirit, which he's not spirit. He's supposed to be resurrected and ascended. No, he was having a dream as he was dead. That's what happens in your brain when you're dying. That light, yeah, it's your dream about to kick in. And so Perry Packer Scott, all of whom signed the receipt. The curse of Joseph Smith kicked in and took them. Not me. I'm as innocent as a wham. And so that put Nelson in pole position. He too signed the receipt. And then the big sign of the start of the latter days occurred over the whole United States of America. And the Christian world are still in denial that it's supposed to be the United States of America where the Christ is to come, not Jerusalem. Even the Jews still don't understand this. They too have been fooled by Constantine into turning their Jewish prophecies and revelations into literal histories. The Jews do not understand prophecy and revelation. They only understand that there's supposed to be an Ephraimite who is supposed to be Messiah ben David, who's supposed to fill the Matthew checklist. Even though they don't accept Matthew as theirs because of Christian tampering. But nonetheless, Matthew was a Jew and put in the checklist of prophecies with revelations for my coming. And then Hales, likewise, who signed the check, bites the big one right after the sign of my coming from Revelation chapter 12, verses 1, 2, and 5, which the Joseph Smith translation moves to verse 3 because it's supposed to be there. So says Isaiah, so says the Book of Mormon, 1 Nephi chapter 1, verses 8 through 10. 23rd September 2017, at the beginning of the Book of Mormon, the first year, huh? Not a single Mormon knows it. Again, I'm the prophet. I'm the revelator. So that Mormons would not be deceived by false prophets if they merely but run the test. And so, Monson, to start it all off, at the beginning of the latter days, on the 2nd of January, 9 years ago, which will be 10 years, no, 7 years. Dear God, my math sucks. I'm trying to do it in my brain. 2018, 2025 is 7 years. The quadrantid meteor showers, the third largest meteor showers of the year, at the tail of Draco the Dragon, Revelation chapter 12, verse 4. The curse of Joseph Smith, combined with prophecy and revelation of the Jews. Scripture to warn Mormons of the false prophet who would die because of what he did to me. And then 2020, all of the Exodus story events are prophecies and revelations. They've all happened. You now know them as true and good. I am he who has the keys of the Jewish Christ. So then I found out the church is plotting to murder the masses, as they did in 2020, and coup the government, as they attempted as a test run, thanks to Sister Jessica, who leaked oaks to mission presidents before it all hit the fan that year. I would then go on in 2021 after conference to find the way to perfection. They confirmed that that's what they were doing. It was this year that I finally found Sister Jessica because of a linking from her back in 2020 to her mission website. Mindy found it, linked it to a guy who does YouTube videos, and YouTube, thinking they're going to mock me as their Jewish Christ, they're mocking me. Mormons who mock me, who send hate comments, death threats, if not just a thumbs down, deny me. After all the latter days where I've demonstrated all the gifts repeatedly, and the big event of 2020 that made it very clear who I am. I parted the waters. And not a single Mormon believes. YouTube won't allow Mormons to see my videos because the church ordered them not to let people know who I am because they failed to exterminate me. Mormons don't understand why I constantly mock Nelson's own words that violate the scriptures, that preach against the scriptures, that are an illiteracy attempt to quote them. And not just poorly mistranslated, he didn't even care to try to translate. But Mormons won't run the test. And so in 2023, after again being imprisoned like Joseph of Egypt, without due process, to be tortured unto death, I again get out, and here I am. And two little girls that were ordered to keep me locked up failed, and they got fired and punished by the church for their failure. And so the church threatened my own brother to come after me. And he told his lawyer that he had to pay the $2,000 down payment for, that he was threatened by the church to attack me. And somehow the lawyer missed it and sent me an email, to which I pointed it out to the lawyer, and it was dropped. But my brother lost $2,000 for his failure to obey Nelson through the Strengthening Church Members Committee. And thus a sign in the heavens also accompanied that. My brother now gets put in the archives of the history of the latter days, immortalized as the villain. Well done, Todd. My parents also were involved in the erasing of my history. The ancient Egyptians would do that by trying to carve out the faces of the previous pharaohs carved in stone. We have better technology to erase a person altogether so that there are no chiseled carvings remaining. And so this year has been the big event. So previous in-between years, I was bored, so I'd give you an extra prophecy and revelation for you with countdown videos. Right, Nelson? How art thou fallen, O Russell Marion, son of the morning? And Mormons still mock that strengthening church members committee of the 70. Still mock, still plot, still lie in wait. Members of the 70 who are in religious positions of trust seek to destroy me because of who I am. They won't run the test. They know they are being ordered to commit crimes against members of the church, and thus me. And they willingly commit crimes on behalf of this church. Mormons, when faced with this situation, all cave and demonstrate they have no integrity or honor. Avraham Gileadi exposed me, but merged me with Jesus. And the church still said, no, you can't merge the two. You have to deny the Jewish Christ altogether. And Avraham Gileadi was fired and excommunicated. And he came back crying on his hands and knees, begging to be taken back, saying there must be some mistake. And so to this day, he denies the Jewish Christ. But he's allowed to remain a Mormon, allowed to continue to do videos to deceive Mormons. Not sure which is worse. Probably him. But Kwaku likewise was exposed in an interview where he thought he was going to defend the church. And they got him on Brigham Young being a racist. Because you do know Kwaku is black. And he had to confess on a live interview debate that Brigham Young is a racist. And so he went into hiding. And just the other day, I saw that he is being covered in a video, being the cool kid, defending the church still. Lost his honor and integrity as a black man, knowing that Brigham Young is a racist, knowing that he's being used because of the church's racism to say that the church isn't racist. Right? President of the NAACP. I don't understand why blacks are not upset with him for his caving to Nelson, to be used as a slave puppet. It is just horrific. I even put out the clips of Nelson's racism. And apparently everybody, pretends it didn't exist. And so, 3 Nephi chapter 21. We'll start in verse 20. For it shall come to pass, saith the Father, that at that day whosoever will not repent and come unto me, them will I cut off from among the people, O house of Israel. You need to look at the bigger picture of context with Joseph Smith, verse 40 of the Joseph Smith history. Cut off. precisely as it stands in our New Testament, which is destroyed, not cut off. O house of Israel is Mormons, so whosoever is Mormons. Them is Mormons. My people, Mormons. O house of Israel, Mormons. And I will execute vengeance and fury upon them, Mormons, even as upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. But if Mormons will repent and hearken unto my words, and harden not their hearts, I will establish my church among them. And they shall come in unto the covenant and be numbered among the remnant of Jacob, unto whom I have given this land for their inheritance. Now, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints thinks that this part, and they shall assist my people, the remnant of Jacob, and also as many of the house of Israel as shall come, that they may build a city which shall be called the New Jerusalem. And then shall they assist my people, that they may be gathered in, who are scattered upon all the face of the land, in unto the New Jerusalem. The church believes that this is the Lamanites, and that the Lamanites will be the slaves to Mount Zion. As the Mormons will be the overseers. No, not quite. Not quite. No, this is the gathering. Me. The keys of Moses. The Exodus, the gathering of Mormons who have been scattered all over the earth. See, the initial Mormons are those here in this valley, where my ministry is, all these years, on the 23rd of September 2017, from Revelation chapter 12, 1, 2, and 5. Which is in the Book of Mormon, which is in Isaiah. And even Matthew talks about it, but he has to word it so that it's a dualistic prophecy of my actual birthday too. And so, yes, I have the Exodus all ready to go. It's all planned out. It just needs the first two events to take place. And I know how to build Zion. Because I'm the guy, remember? You still won't believe. No matter how much evidence I give you, no matter how many fulfillments I give you, Mormons refuse to believe. You were being warned not to do that. And you don't believe it. Straight from the Book of Mormon, straight from Joseph Smith, and you don't believe it. You think you're untouchable. Well, so did Monson. So did every other one of those 15. You don't mess with me. And Mormons don't believe it, and they mess with me. They don't care that they're terrorists. They don't care that they're the enemy. They don't care that they were born that way as Danites in their DNA, who murdered Joseph Smith. And so here we are, Hanukkah, the first day, started last night. There was a Jewish lady, probably a rabbi. Rabbis allow women to be rabbis now, who was giving a brief explanation of Hanukkah for the first day. I suspect she'll be doing a video series all this week for every single day. And even she, as a rabbi, admitted what I already been telling you, that Hanukkah is during the darkest time of the year, with the fifth day as the dark day. And I still had that dumbass who thought he knew that I was wrong. There's no dark day of Hanukkah. People who don't study, who don't know the subject matter, keep telling me I'm wrong. Dumbasses. You can't just deny truth and expect to be right. It just makes you stupid. But this building of Zion is in jeopardy, because Trump is going to do a mass deportation if he takes office on the 20th. Already the states at the border are already wanting to do it now. They don't want to wait for Trump. How is the prophecies going to get fulfilled? So yes, you'll notice that there was no nukes last night. Did you miss it? Did you not listen to me? This is not my prophecy. It was George Albert Smith, thanks to Idaho Chick, who comes and goes as she pleases. And so the George Albert Smith prophecy through a Mormon, and this isn't a modern thing that he said. This was way back in '89, talking about when George Albert Smith came to his ward, because George Albert Smith apparently lived down the block. Just like when I was in dating Kimberly in Bountiful Hills, we were in the same ward as President Eyring. Apparently it wasn't the same ward as Nelson. Nelson was in the other ward, I guess. But nonetheless, it happens in Utah. Prophets have to live somewhere. They don't always stay at their new apartment as the president, right across the street from Temple Square, as the penthouse suite. I saw him in 2014, I think. I was helping Daniel move there with his new wife. And Monson was driving his, was it a black Cadillac? think it's a pink Cadillac, isn't it? The song. But yeah, I've had my one-on-ones with a number of the apostles who signed the checks to have me exterminated. Most of it before Nelson was after. Yeah. Which would explain why he was angry. Because he remembers. He knows who I am. He saw my face. He was shown my picture. They were shown my membership records. They knew who I am. They knew that my new name is Nephi, as prophesied. They know who I am, and they still do what they do to protect their authority over you, to take away your agency and to steal your money, and to be the terrorist organization to mass murder people and coup governments. But I told you to watch the stock market. The church is involved with the stock market. I do these videos warning of the coming prophecies to try to get the enemy to postpone them. And it's worked on a number of occasions. That's why they're pissed with me. That's why they keep silencing my channel. That's why they keep trying to exterminate me. I'm a thorn in their side. And their neck. And their heel. And the 1,000 points of death. And yet the only thing they've got going for them is that they're more technologically advanced with the members of the 70 to commit cyber terrorism against me. And the threats that they give Mormons to murder me. The Valentine's Day massacre still has not been restored. This church cannot repair the damage and restore me for what they did to me. These are the crimes of capital punishment that they committed against me. These are the unforgivable sins that they have committed against me. This is son of perdition that they have made themselves. And all I'm doing is trying to get Mormons to listen so that I can save your lives and get us to Zion. So that you can live in peace, safety, and refuge. But this enemy does not want the prophecies to be fulfilled, and in so doing, they are fulfilling the prophecies. Because evil is dumb. Sorry, Dark Helmet. You're wrong. But I love your action figures. Not dolls. And so yes, because Trump won the election, it was clear from Oaks that the nukes would fly because they expected Biden to win, or Harris. They didn't expect Biden to be too infirm. That kind of shocked them. And so their plans, wow, okay. And so, like the guy who came out with Project 2025 said, just let it happen and nobody will get hurt. There will be no bloodbath. Just let it happen. They let it happen. And so, yeah, no nukes. And so I'm expecting that there won't be a nuclear strike on New Year's either. But check the stock market. Pay attention. I told you that if it didn't happen on Christmas, that I would be talking about New Year's. You gotta listen to me. I am not here with a script, reading it, sounding like a robot. It's just me talking with you, trying to reason with you, trying to get you to understand the scriptures are not Christian. Christianity is a fraud. Constantine created it. And yet you resist that too. Not catching on to what Joseph Smith's first vision was all about. Not understanding the great and abominable church. It's Christian. Christianity is abominable for what they did to the Jews. And so, yes, things seem like they won't get fulfilled. How are we going to get the Lamanites to build Zion for us? When Trump won't let him in and he's kicking him out. How's it gonna happen? But that's Trump's version of the Exodus. The enemy has their fulfillments. The religion has theirs. And so, yes, the fall of America has happened. We are in the transition phase of becoming fascist. And nobody seems to understand the danger we're all in. Too many people are in denial that it's happening. Too many people deny that Trump would actually do what he has already been doing and been threatening. People don't understand. We still have the debt ceiling that's still unresolved. I do understand that the funding bill had the Social Security thing that got approved. So those who are on retirement, thus Social Security through what they paid into the system, are able to get a big boost either February or March from what people are reporting. And so will we even make it till then? Maybe. Because we did get money for 2020 as Americans. So again, I'm seeing that pattern of people being allowed to obtain a little extra money in preparation for what is about to destroy America with. But you do need to know that if Trump gets into office on the 20th, that the Book of Mormon is no longer true. 35:7. Hello? None of this is literal history. Why is this so hard for Mormons to get? If you try to understand the Book of Mormon as literal history, you're wrong. And you'll have questions, and you'll have controversies, and you'll have confusions. And you'll try to apologize and rationalize and ignore details in order for it to fit in your brain. You can't do that. It's prophecy and revelation. And so yes, 3 Nephi 7 says that Trump will not take office on the 20th. They did not establish a king that year. And then the destructions happened, and we're in Bountiful. And so that concerns me, that Mormons will be destroyed here in this valley with the church. And then the survivors go to Zion. But they're going to go to the wrong place if they're going to go at all. You're going to have people rising up saying, I'm the leader. Don't judge me by my fruits. I have keys. I have titles. They're not authorized. You're going to be deceived. You're not running the test. Nobody knows me. Nobody believes. Everybody wants to hurt me. Gee, just like the Jews did to the Jesus, who's the Jewish Christ, by the Jewish author who wrote the scriptures. And yet the Jewish author was wrong. It's not prophecy and revelation, because Constantine's first creed said so. It's now literal history. Jesus is now real. That's his name, not Emmanuel. Sun God. Yet so many people who are just illiterate, who believe people who lie. God with us? No. Let God prevail? No. Chief cornerstone of the cornerstone? No. Yoke yourself to Jesus? No. Too many illiterate people get punked by false prophets who keep you illiterate. So, I now have a whole bunch of stuff to make, some pretty pictures for you that you'll ignore, not understand, get confused. How does that make you the Christ? You're not Jesus. If you're Jesus, smite Nelson down with your stare with a lightning bolt. Get rid of Christian interpretation. You won't do it. You keep hardening your hearts, and you won't hearken. You won't repent. And don't even get me going on repent. It's the wrong translation. That's a second physical pain. It's not the word. I have to flog myself like the terrorist in Da Vinci Code? Yes, you do. Yep. Go ahead. Believe that. Go right ahead. Alrighty. So yeah, I've got a whole bunch of charts. I got to teach you about the next 3 months. And do charts on that. Charts on this. Here a chart, there a chart, everywhere a chart. Rap. But yeah, Sunday. Standing in the bathtub. gonna dry off, and then it hit me. And I just, no. And so, yeah, signs followed them that believe, even though I didn't want to believe. Stock market goes up, so I knew there was going to be no nuclear strike. I told you. Did you listen? No? And so, yeah, I hear the workers out early this morning. Thanks to the garbage man across the street, I was able to wake up. I woke up at 1:30, but went right back to bed. So, slept in. Holiday weekend, I guess. First day of Hanukkah, right? Not the Druid pagan day. What? Christmas is not about Jesus? No, it never was. You got conned again. It's the Druids. I'm not sure if it's the British Druids or the other Druids, but the British Druids were my ancestors of the god souls, sun gods. That's a backup. Somebody's backing up on them. Whatever. You're interrupting my video. So I guess they know where I live, and so instead of cyber terrorizing me by freezing the camera, they sent an app workers to make noise in the background. Wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me whatsoever. So, yeah, I noticed that all of the apartments are filled up in the new building. Even though I had a neighbor back on last week that briefly had an eviction notice. Over the 2 years, I've noticed several on just my floor alone, because I don't go wandering other people's floors. But yeah, everybody's trying to cause destruction upon the people. So yeah, pay attention. The debt ceiling has not been resolved, and so we may never get our Social Security that many of you will get. We'll have to see. But yeah, there's some stuff that I've done videos for before. But since apparently we're going to the end of the end, back in 2017, I begged not to go this far. Begged. 2020, I thought, great, this could be it. No. I parted the waters. I sued the church, and Pharaoh said no. Everybody's protecting the church from criminal prosecution. That's a sad reality. And so, the majority of you are the elderly, even though you're in the 70 and you're narking to Nelson about me. You know now. Even if you don't believe, you know. I'm not lying about Nelson. All my clips are straight from them. You know they're wrong. and yet you still do what you do. And despite all of the evidence, all of the fulfillments, you still want to deny. Nelson still thinks he's going to escape the curse of Joseph Smith, or that the curse of Joseph Smith will just be a slap on the wrist. Because remember, Monson was a massive event for what he did to me. What makes Nelson think he's going to be different? You can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. That makes you in need of going to your own family services. And they'll drug you and shorten your lifespan and deny you going on a mission and tell you to have the baby and give it up for adoption. And then become a Mormon nun. Yeah, people didn't understand that Church News article. They just, no, they're not becoming monks and nuns by going on missions. Sherry Dew is a nun because she chose not to settle for one of her peers. She wanted an apostle because she's that righteous. She deserves what she got. And so does every other single sister in the older singles ward. Bleep you all for giving me Snickers. The older singles women made it very clear they had no interest in me. And so I left. And then the branch president, who confessed that he'd never even read the Book of Mormon, that he's not an intellectual like me. And so I went back to the family ward. And instead, he took it personally and had my temple recommend confiscated at the Jordan River Temple. A number of the temple workers had heart attacks and died instantly on the spot, realizing that the church was doomed if a guy like me can have my temple recommend taken. I was the future of the church. And so one evening, my sister Tabitha answered the door. I was forced to live in my parents' basement at the time because of what my parents did to me and the church did to me, and everybody ganged up on me for it and then blamed me for it. And a group of single sisters from the older singles ward had come to give me a bag of Snickers candy bars. And so Tabitha came down the stairs to my basement apartment, which my parents demanded that I make ever since. Long story. And she thought that they had a crush on me. So I had to teach her about Rick's College, what was the common practice at Rick's when women asked guys out to morp. The prom spelled backwards, where women asked guys. And the common practice was to make a sign asking the guy out to morp by using candy bars to fill in the name of words like a Mad Lib. And so Snickers and so yeah, her countenance then fell and she went right back up the stairs. I ate all the Snickers in about a day. But yeah, it's very clear that as a regular Mormon, I'm still not liked. I came forth among you. Joseph Smith is true, Book of Mormon is true, and everybody wants me dead. And now that everybody knows who I am, everybody still wants me dead, and it escalates to try to murder me, to try to hurt me, to harm me, to financially ruin me. This is my sad life that I've had to face. That women don't want me. Church leaders all gang up on me. And the regular Mormons don't know what they're doing to me. And I'm not going to say, Father, forgive them. Because there's consequences coming. If it's not by nuke, it'll be by Trump. The damage that Trump will do to this nation is intended to destroy it. But if you let it happen, it'll still happen. But those who don't get affected immediately will get affected directly. And the deep state Dem press is trying to get it out, but they're still not understanding how severe it's going to be. Trump purposely is going to tank the economy and thus destroy the whole world. That's what he was assigned to do. Hello? The church? They want their kingdom back? They're in charge of all this. Done the videos. Over 8.2K on both channels because of YouTube's attacks. So TWG was intended to be the business one back in 2017, but because of YouTube, I was forced to use both as the warning voice for you. And so Mormons get offended when I quote the prophets. They're just illiterate to understand them. They don't understand. And they just don't get it. And when a people is illiterate, that's where the hardness of hearts come from. Illiteracy breeds hate, and hate breeds violence. That's why the church keeps you stupid. So that you become their weapons against other people. And then when you get in trouble, right, Todd? Church abandons you. Church betrays you. That is Judas. Phonetically the same as Utah. So, in the coming day, I'll be working on charts. And as I get the charts, I'll do the videos for them. But understand, there are going to be things coming. Don't be surprised, because I told you so.